All right. It's now okay, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank you for attending this session, and probably I would like to share some stories. And instead of having a very lengthy talk, I would like actually to hear you discuss actively with me, so that you can also practice your English. And probably I will just do around 20 minutes presentation. So let's start now. So let me introduce a little bit about myself. My name is Zahrina, and my nickname is Dina. And I was born in Sidoarjo in East Java. And I'm a proud Japanese actually. I speak Java too. When I live in the Netherlands, I speak Java everywhere when I'm in Japanese. And I'm currently a lecturer at ULI Indonesia. And ULI Indonesia is an international university liaison in Indonesia that is actually founded by Ilham Akbar Habibie, who is Habibie's son. And ULI Indonesia is actually working together with few universities in Germany and in the whole Europe, including Technische Universiteit of Ilmenau. And we offer actually double degree and offer the student the opportunity to go to Germany to get a double degree from us and also from Germany. And then I did my bachelor in biomedical engineering in Universitas Erlangga Surabaya. And then I also did, afterwards, I obtained Erasmus Mundus scholarship. And that means I needed to do my master in 2 different countries in Europe, which was Belgium and at Ghent University, and also the Netherlands. The other one was the Netherlands, at Groningen, the University of Groningen, the Netherlands. And afterwards, I just applied to ULI and teach in around 2.5 years. And afterwards, I applied to the University of Queensland in Australia. And now I'm currently just about to wrap up my first year of PhD here in the University of Queensland, Australia, and probably will be here in around 2 or 2.5 years. So please just send me a notice whether if I speak too fast or something, because I naturally speak fast in any language, so that's actually a bad habit. So first, probably you attend here because you want to know how to be consistent and how actually what is the easiest way, what is the most effective way to just realize your dream to study abroad. And what's so special actually about studying abroad? So that's actually the question from most of the people. And here, I just want to show you a little bit some of the reasons that made me want to study abroad. And this was my graduation ceremony at the University of Ghent with some friends. This was in the year of 2016. And first, when you study abroad, then the first thing that you will see is actually excellent educational facilities. So for instance, probably some of you are from a technical background like me, so engineering background like me. So probably you know already that actually some of the universities in Indonesia, probably we don't have enough equipment. So sometimes we need to go to another institutes to get the equipment. But in most of the top campus in the world, they actually provide all kind of equipment. So it's very easy for you to just get the research done very quickly compared to the normal that you usually do in Indonesia. So first is actually facilities. And second is actually the opportunity to meet actually the best expertise in the field. So let's say I'm studying now mechanical and mining engineering in the division of material engineering. And actually we actually see how expert or actually how good a person is. One of the factor is actually publication, and which we can see easily from the H index at Google Scholar. So one of the my professor is actually one of the most expert in his field, in our field, and now is having a H index around 76. And it's somehow, how do you say it? It's very cool if you read journals. If you read journals in one field, let's say maybe you're from medicine, or maybe you're from engineering, or from computer science, or so, you normally read journals. You notice some names in the paper. It's like, oh, this and this and this. So you notice that actually they are among the frontiers in the field. And then funny thing is, actually, when I did my master in Belgium and the Netherlands, I was so norak. So I actually met that people who always wrote in the journals, and they become my professors, which means that actually I got the knowledge, I got the seat in the class with the best people in the field teaching me. So that's actually an opportunity that is very rare to get. So something like that. And then, so that's first, and the second, all of the educational facilities. And probably also, if you want to apply for a job, it's, of course, doesn't have to be that actually we are graduated from Harvard University or something like that. It doesn't have to be, it depends. So our quality is actually depends on ourselves, not from the quality of the university. But we cannot deny that actually whenever we apply for a job, then first thing, one of the first thing that the committee will see is actually from where are you from. So let's say if you are graduating from abroad, then maybe that will be taken into more considerations. So that's also a plus value of studying abroad. And then the second point is actually you get friends from all over the world. So for instance, here, I got a friend from South Korea, and she's from Mexico. She's from Colombia. She's from they both are from Turkey, and then few of them they're European, like from Taiwan. And I also got this is my friend from the USA. So many friends from all over the world. You can never imagine that actually you would actually meet them in person, talk to them, and building a very nice friendship. And the third one is actually you got to see the monumental place. And let's say all of us wants to go to Europe normally for that kind of reason, because actually Europe offers so many opportunities to see April and to see Colosseum in Rome, probably to see Big Bang in London or something like that. So monumental places is actually a bonus of study abroad. And then the last thing that I actually appreciate that much is actually the chance to interchange our language and also cultures. So because I was doing Erasmus, we need to move from one country and another. But luckily, both of the countries that I've been studying, it was Dutch-speaking country, Dutch. So I learned the Netherlands language, but some of my friends, they learn the Netherlands and they also learn German. So that was actually a harder task to do. And actually it's very interesting because you can see here, from this picture, sorry, I was the only one wearing hijab. So some of my friends, they have never ever met a woman wearing hijab in their lives. For instance, my friends, which are from South America. So it's very nice actually to ask each other questions about where are you wearing hijab, and actually what is Islam, and what makes Islam so special, and why Islam treats women and men differently. So questions like that. But actually the questions that I got from my friends actually was far from judgmental. So it's pure curiosity. So something like that. And I think it's very interesting because I got to learn their cultures too, which we don't understand. And it's like I also have a friend which was from Albania. He's from Albania. So you can imagine, like, Albania is a small Balkan country in Europe. And I think if it weren't for Erasmus, if it weren't from study abroad, that I wouldn't have a chance to just know a friends from the country that I have never imagined before. So this is actually a sneak peek of parties. So if you are studying in Europe, normally there are so many parties, like 3 invitations in a week. So it's kind of hard to reject, but they are fun. And you can see this is a Mexican party that I attended one of my friends is a Mexican, so she just held a Mexican independent party, and we were all there. And in here is our favorite jazz bar in Ghent, Belgium. So normally there are people playing instruments and in all jazz music, and there actually the atmosphere is actually very comfy. And this is from the year 2018, where 4 of my friends came all the way from Europe to visit me, and we actually did the tour in Yogyakarta, in Bali, and also in Nusa Tenggara. So that was a kind of really fun journey, and we still are very bonded now. We have a group, and actually we plan to do the trip probably like once each 3 years in various countries where my friends are, so such as Colombia, such as Albania, in Balkan, and things like that. So it's gonna be a long-term plan, and that's kind of actually fun. And you can imagine if I meet, for instance, a speaker in the future, let's say I want to conduct a seminar and I have a friend, I don't need to pay them. Just kidding. Yeah, something like that. So what you get from studying abroad is actually the power of networking that you can never imagine before, how wide your network is after you study abroad. And the last thing I noticed from people who study abroad is actually confidence. So that actually what built us as a person. And what I see that actually my students who did the exchange in Germany, even though that's only for 6 months or a year, and they speak English or they speak Germans, they build much more confidence compared to people who don't. So I don't say that not studying abroad is bad, but I'm saying that actually studying abroad really does have some benefits that can be offered to you. So Nia told me, actually, instead of share with you in a detail how to get the scholarships, I would share that, so don't worry. But you can find the details about those in most of the blog. So she requested me, after we discussed, she requested me actually to share more of my personal stories. It's about consistency, about dreams, about confidence, about insecurities and things like that. But I will also cover a little bit about how to apply for scholarship and how to apply for a PhD and for master. And if you are keen to hear more detailed stories about scholarship and stuff, then you can just we can just discuss in the discussion session, and or you can always send me an email and I will answer to you. So how to be consistent is actually a difficult question because I'm not consistent myself. But I think what makes us different, why we can study abroad, why we can it's like do master and doctoral quite early, something like that, is because I understand myself. So the first thing you must do is actually to understand yourself. What things you are good at, what do you want to do, something like that. So, and it's the most important thing that actually people often miss, because nowadays people set the standard like this: oh, studying abroad is cool, so everybody wants to study abroad. So being a researcher is cool, so everybody wants to be a researcher, without actually knowing what is our real capabilities, what things that actually we love, something like that. So it's very important to question yourself before you decide to study abroad. Am I really into this? Like, will it really benefit myself? Something like that. So it's important. And second is actually find your purpose. So what's your purpose? It's like, can you just have a roadmap? What would you be in 10 years from now on? What would you be? For instance, me myself, I want to be a professor, and I want to also have the career in industry as a consultant, as an engineering consultant. And I actually find that purpose when I was in high school, when I was in bachelor. So it was kind of easy, a little bit easy for me to go step by step, following my long-term goal. And the third one is actually don't ever compare yourself to others and aspire instead. I will explain you the difference. So both of my friends here, they're both Colombian actually, And when we talk about South America, Colombia, then you won't imagine that actually they have the smartest people that I've ever encountered in my life. So both of them have the highest GPA in the University of Groningen and the University of Ghent. So they are very smart. they are belong to my group. We always play together, and we practically live together in the same building. And I was actually the youngest when I came in Belgium. I was 21 year old. I was 21 year old. I didn't speak English like this, of course. And what do you say? It's like when I arrived there, I was surprised because it was out in the middle of autumn. It was so cold for me, and it was so gloomy. All of the atmosphere was so gloomy. So it was not good at first impression. And when I saw my friends, I was so shocked that actually know that they are actually around 3 year and 7 year older than me. And there was somebody which was also like far year older than me, and all of them actually was not a fresh graduate like I was. I was a fresh graduate. I know nothing, but all of my friends have previously worked before in a big medical company in the world. They even created Slumbersea. You know, Slumbersea is a very big oil and gas company. And she, my friend, she even created Slumbersea to get this scholarship and move to Holland. So that they are not ordinary people. They are like extraordinary people. And when we were in the group discussion sitting like this, I couldn't speak, of course, because whenever I speak, then my friends would say with correction my English, like not like that, sweetie. What do you say? You are so Asian. No, that was a joke. But actually, they corrected me for a good purpose, because actually I improved my English a bit by bit. So eventually I could. But the first time I came, my English was so bad. I couldn't understand the conversation. And when I was in the group, because everybody was so outspoken, everybody was so confident, I couldn't speak a words at all. So that happened to everyone, including me. But my friend here, she's my best friend until now, who I respect very much. And she said at the time, it's like I and you are 7 years apart. So of course, if I know few more stuff than you do, that's totally normal. But can you imagine, you do the master like I do now. So can you imagine what will you be in 7 years from now? You will be like, I don't know how many times smarter than me. So that's what she said, and that's actually encouraged me so much. Okay, I'm done now, but maybe in 7 years I will be smart. Oh, quite good. Okay, something like that. And she said also to me, don't even compare yourself to others, to me or to others. No, the only standard you can set for yourself is you, it's not others. And the purpose of learning is to learn, not for the grades. The grades is following. So as long as you learn, as long as you do the best job, as long as you can surpass your self-standard, then that's going to be okay, she said. And yeah, I think that kind of slapped me in the face, because I couldn't speak. I didn't have confidence, because actually I was constantly looking at people, at my surrounding. Why they are so great? Why they're so confident? They have everything that I don't. So something like that. So eventually I had a bad grades at the beginning, because it was a very hard adaptation for me to be in a foreign country at the age of 21 years old. But then after I realized that actually it's no use to compare myself to others, then I got the confidence that I'm not following their pace. I have my own pace. So that's how I can improve myself. So, okay, what time is it now? A bit. Okay, I almost spent 30 minutes. No. So how I define who should I become? So that's actually also the how I define. That's also the thing that it's important to ask yourself. So first, I just know myself as somebody who loves research very much. I pretty much started research when I was in high school. I love to join competition, writing competition. I love writing with all my heart. And I also love to join the English speaking competition. And also I have a dream to travel around the world. But the first time I took the plane, it was 2012 to Malaysia. And that was my first time, because actually I'm not from a rich family. I'm not just a common family. So I've never taken an airplane before, and that was my first time taking an airplane. It was to Malaysia, and after that, because I had a passport, so I was like kind of, okay, I need to fill in this passport with all of the stamps for all different countries. So that's what I did because I was so keen to travel the world. So, and the third is actually I feel the joy in teaching and to spend time with my students, and it's actually very enjoyable. I don't know why. I just consider them myself friends instead of as students. So it's very fun to speak to them. And because of Laskar Pelangi, it's kind of hilarious, but every time anybody asks me about why you took Erasmus instead of LPDP or other common scholarship, actually was inspired a lot by Andre Hirata. So because he did Erasmus into different countries in England, if I'm not mistaken, in England and in France. So that's why I also was keen to pursue Erasmus. And the last one is I actually had a huge spine surgery when I was in the final year of my bachelor, and I couldn't walk. It was a huge surgery. It took me 3 months to recover, so I don't have the ability to actually doing a lot of physical stuff like lifting heavy things or probably doing a work that is very heavy. So my mom always told me just be a lecturer instead, because actually I'm also keen to teach and I like to write. So that's actually how I define myself. I think I should follow this path as an academician. So from those factors, you probably can now list what do I want, who I want to become, how I will achieve this. So that's actually very important questions. But now there comes the dilemma. Have I really regretted my decisions very often? So very often, because actually things that we like to do and things we are good at, sometimes it doesn't make money, and sometimes things that makes money and we like to do but we are not good at. So that's actually life always have a consequence. So we cannot have three of them together all together. And what do I do then when I feel down or not in the mood of working? I would always imagining what worse could happen if I didn't choose this path. For instance, I'm actually quite saturated with the PhD and stuff. It's very tiring. I work from 9:30 to 9:30 in the morning to 9:30 in the evening. So almost 12 hours a day. It's very tiring. It's very it's very intense. And then, but if I just complain to myself, oh, it's so hard, I would just ask myself, what would you do if you are not here? What would you do there? What would you do? Well, will you achieve your goal in 10 years? No, right? So something like that. And that way, I would always find a way to just thank myself and to just have a gratitude that all the things that I actually have now. And I also like pastry and coffee. So when I feel down and I'm not in the mood to work, I normally just go to coffee shop and just eat random things. I read webtoon, I take a hot shower, I call random people. There are people, very, very close friends that I always constantly call. Shopping, but cannot be too often, expensive. And also read over my old blog posts to see how I have been progressing from the 21-year-old of me and becoming myself now, like seeing that actually I did really progress, even though not that much. That kind of really lifted me up. And I also have gratitude journals, and that's actually suggested by many of the psychologists that is actually very, very good habit to keep. And I also watch TED Talk, and I apply fresh care before sleeping. Also, Kuliah balsam. I like it very much. It's kind of relieving all of the pain that you have during the day. So, the question is now, do I feel insecure? I don't know what insecure is. What is that word? I'm kidding. So, I want to share you stories that probably you can't imagine that this actually happened. So let's say, who is the most perfect person you can imagine now? Probably Gigi Hadid, or probably I don't know who. But I actually met a researcher here when the first time I came to Australia. I was with my professor. We were we went together to the next university. It's called it's called QUT. Is the other university here, and in QUT we were trying to find a collaborator researcher, and actually doctoral is the highest degree of education. So you have the bachelor degree, you have the master degree, and you have doctoral degree. After you graduate from doctoral, you have a postdoctoral. Postdoctoral is not school, so you are not student anymore. But in postdoctoral is kind of positions that everybody who take academic path wants, because actually that will secure you a very good paid job, and makes enable you to stay here in Australia, and also that will just ease your way if you want to be a professor here in Australia. And when we met that collaborator at QUT, she actually said, unfortunately, I'm not staying here until January. So that was in October. I'm not staying here until January. And why was that? Because actually her contract, her work contract will end by January. And my professor went home with me driving, and he told me like this: it's so sad to see that actually there are so many people graduated from doctoral, from PhD in Australia. But now, do you know what is the percentage of the positions? It is kind of 16 compared to 1. So here at UQ, at my university, they open a position for assistant professor, and only 1. And the number of doctoral graduate who applied was 16. So that's 16 compared to 1. Only 1 get the position. And do you realize how competitive is that? And even us, it's like PhD students, I and my colleague, I just also do smell the sense of insecurity, because actually we're constantly asking each other, how are you progressing? But no, we're kind of the same. All of us are the same, something like that. So I just get that kind of sentence as a form of insecurity, because actually of our doctoral students, we compete to get the postdoctoral position. But I don't, because actually I got the scholarship from Indonesian government, so I need to go back. But most of the people who don't want to just go out from Australia, or don't want to just return to their home countries, they are very insecure, because actually they need to secure a postdoctoral position, which is very rare, and it's very highly competitive. And even when you are a professor already, even when you're a professor, you still compete to get a research grant, to be recognized, because actually recognition is also one important factor to get a research grant. So insecurity, competition is unfortunately endless. It happened to everyone. It happened throughout all of the cycles in human life until we die. It just die. Just death will just end this insecurity. So that's a very normal thing to happen to all of us. And yeah, it's just that accept it. It's not only you. So it's not only you. Everybody has some kind form of insecurity. So, but they just don't tell you that they do. So also, nobody is excellent at doing something new. Nobody. So that's what you have to always remember. So how to solve the form of insecurity and also anxiety? First is I write a gratitude journal that I can just list which things that I'm actually thankful for, and it's actually suggested by psychologists that actually you need to do one small thing that you love within days. Such as, like, for myself, it's probably like taking a hot shower, or probably like have a coffee early in the morning, have a very good, delicious breakfast, something like that. And make a letter from your version of self in the future. So I would like to, let's say, from me in the 15 years from now on, I would write letters to myself to just resolve all my worries and things like that. And it's actually work, because actually I do it. And when I consulted to the psychologist, and it's actually very good habit to keep. And get a professional help if needed, because until now, so many people consider that actually mental health is not important, that actually mental need a help is equal to being crazy. But here in Australia, they always have a mental health awareness. So all of us are encouraged to just speak of what we feel, we always really mean when we say howdy, howdy. It's like we always mean it. It's like not too good. We don't always say I'm fine, I'm good, thank you. No, we always say not too bad, not too good, or that was the worst day, something like that. And then there will be a follow-up from the conversation, because we really mean when we ask those kind of questions to people. My supervisors, for instance, they always ask me during the COVID situation, they always ask me, how's my family, how is my mental state situation, and these things like that. How are things progressing? Does coronavirus affect my family in Indonesia and stuff like that? So it's actually very good. And I love Australia because actually they're kind of relaxed people. They're smart, but they're also relaxed, and they're very human. Not only smart, but they're very human. They're very good person. In a personal, they're a very good person. And the last thing to solve the insecurities, of course, also religious approaches, which you already know. Okay, I surprised the time, but I think it's okay. I will skip a few slides. So it's important to accept yourself as you were designed. Find 1,000 ways to love yourself first, so you can list what you're good at, something like that. So that way you can love yourself, you can accept more yourself better, and that's how confidence is born. So another good habit is actually to set long and short-term goals, such as, let's say, in 10 years from now on, I want to be an engineer consultant in the industry, and I want to be a professor like that. Then I would provide in 10 years. Then that is long-term goal. Then what is the short-term goal? You have also defined. So how do I achieve all of those in 10 years? What do I do? You break down into the small years to make it more realistic. And these are my slides. I think I'm gonna keep it for the question and answer section. Master application, PhD application, and there are a few things among what interviewers looking for. And the first thing is actually the purpose. Everybody will look for someone who has a very clear purpose, and also who knows what is the strength, what is their own strength, what is their own weakness, and how to overcome the weakness. And also, normally in the interview, you always ask, what if you face a difficult situations, such as this is happening in real life, such as the closest one died when you are abroad, or such as maybe you're very sick, or such as you have a very terrible homesick, then how could you overcome it? So that questions, I've been in many academic interview, and those questions actually will arise because they want to know how is your skill to actually problem solve the situation, the difficult situation. And the fourth thing is actually distinguishable character, because actually if you are ordinary, if you don't have something that is peculiar, that is unique, then nobody wants to hire you. And the last thing is, of course, everybody looks for a benefit. So just show them that actually you can give benefits to the committee. So the last thing is always be thankful to yourself. And one day I want to honestly say that, oh, I made it. That was difficult, but I made it. And so all of these are my presentation. I think I'm going to stop sharing now.